He must think that there's another way to open those drives.
I told you I don't have the passwords.
I will arrange bail right away.
The show has battled to hit its past highs. For me, it's less a result of the flight of Axe, Damian Lewis, and more connected with the way that the extraordinary outfit cast has taken a rearward-sitting arrangement all through a large part of the time, coming through for certain strong episodes to a great extent, yet never entirely presenting the grasping, exciting bends in the road of past seasons. But this episode appears unexpectedly and totally nails it. This is a tight, convincing, tense episode that does everything possible to guarantee you that, going ahead, Billions will keep on getting it done. Intriguing that the explanation this finale works and the season was generally dull are really indeed the very same. Allow me to make sense of. I feel that after Damian Lewis left the show, and thusly passed on immense shoes to be filled, Billions settled on the ideal decision by broadening Prince, Corey Stoll, into a full-time character that could wage war with Chuck, Paul Giamatti. Yet, Prince's underlying job as a great extremely rich person wasn't exactly work to be supported long haul. He was a fascinating interest, and all the more critically a differentiation to Axe, a man who made Axe question his own qualities and convictions. In any case, whenever he was bound to take on Chuck, things needed to change. The person expected to move, and that takes time. Along these lines, this season turned out to be a ton of arrangement. On occasion that brought about wandering, apparently irrelevant episodes, however in the end it gives us cold storage and all that is to come next season. The episode starts with an exemplary Billions streak forward, as Chuck and Prince sit opposite one another, attorneys close by, and Dave, Sakina Jaffrey, intervening in the center. Dave expresses that before the finish of this meeting, one of these men will go free and one will go to prison. Presently, what's on the drive, she says as she focuses to a hard drive before Prince. Cuts to 72 hours earlier, as Chuck, actually attempting to show that Prince isn't the immaculate very rich person he says he is trying to destroy his yet unannounced official run, is uncovering soil on Kate, Condola Rashad, to inspire her to betray her chief. He shows her an old case document, where she decided not to indict the family generally answerable for pushing narcotic remedies and in this way filling the emergency. Here they're known as the Butters family, yet I'd suggest looking at Patrick Radden Keefe's Empire of Pain to find out about their genuine partner. Chuck noticed that her dad served on 3 sheets with the top of the Butters family, and believes that is the sort of data hindering to somebody who one day needs to campaign for political position, or who will be introduced in Mike Prince's bureau. Chuck digs some more, and notices that nobody appears as putting resources into Mike money, not even Prince's typical partners. So how can he intend to finance the costly Ubi program that is intended to send off his official offer? Throw gets spurred into uncovering that Prince is subsidizing it himself, with his own cash, which makes him appear as though a hero attempting to kill destitution with his own riches. It's great PR, however Chuck isn't persuaded. No chance does a man like Prince penance almost 33% of his total assets for a program like this. Something different must go on. More digging uncovers that while Prince stripped of all Axe-related organizations when he dominated, including the Sanction Bank, for reasons unknown he stayed with the reinforced vehicle on finance. At the point when Chuck finds a driver for the organization, he's informed that the truck's just vehicle a solitary black box. Inside that case, the drive from our virus open. Sovereign has one of these drives put away at his organizations in different states. Through implies that ride the line of lawfulness, Chuck gets his hands on one of the drives. They're top of the line and very secure. You get 10 endeavors at the pin to get to the drive. In the event that those 10 estimates are mistaken, the drive blocks everlastingly, the information gone. Hurl's recruited tech fellow figures out how to break the drive, and finds $150 million worth of crypto on there. Increase that by the number of drives are out there, and Chuck gauges Prince is concealing more than $3 billion worth of crypto from charge specialists, expecting to furtively utilize it to subsidize Mike money and his official run. All in all, charge misrepresentation for a gigantic scope. While the episode's B-plot works out, a fairly dull redirection into Ryan's, Eva Victor, sexual relationship with Prince and how it's convoluted by his running for president, which doesn't let us know anything all that new about one or the other person. Chuck and Prince spread out their body of evidence against one another before Dave, who's pre-owned her powers as AG to take each and every one of Prince's drives. However, he doesn't have a clue about that. He keeps on demanding he doesn't have a clue about the code for the one drive, and that all that is on there is organization information. Then, at that point, Dave rolls in most of them, and Prince does everything possible to not look shaken. Everybody goes to another room, where Chuck's tech fellow is standing by once more. He's prepared to take a stab at breaking each and every drive at the same time. In the event that he's effective and there's crypto on there, Prince will imprison for charge misrepresentation. In the event that he's ineffective, Chuck will imprison for breaking and entering and taking Prince's property. Dave inquires as to whether he's certain he needs to go ahead with this. He says okay, and the cycle starts, after continuous failed attempts. Hurl looks on in dismay, imagining that Prince would have broken at this point, that he's never really going to risk losing $3 billion in crypto. Presently Kate is overreacting. She lets Prince know that assuming there really is all that cash on there, it's not worth losing, that they can battle the case. Yet again he says he doesn't have the codes. The 10th and last estimate fizzles, and every one of the drives are bricked. Whatever was on there is gone for eternity. Toss can barely handle it. He knows what Prince had on there, and he's in shock that he'd allow everything to go just to get back at him. Toss hauled away in handcuffs, and Prince is allowed to leave. As he's on out, Dave watches him on the surveillance cameras. Briefly Prince withdraws from steadies himself against the divider prior to entering the lift and leaving the structure. Dave grins, realizing that they've given him a colossal blow. Each of this makes way for next season. Drinks are on me. This night has previously cost me $3.5 billion, so how about we drink the great stuff, he says as he appears at a bar with all the MPC representatives, affirming to Kate, and to us, that he forfeited all the crypto, yet in addition that he's not the great tycoon he implies to be. He was sidestepping charges on billions of dollars, and that character shift ought to be vital to next Prepare's fight with Chuck. Believe it or not, Chuck is staying put. Dave figured out how to finagle a warrant some time before Chuck did his illicit digging, getting him free from any bad behavior. In any case, she believed Prince should imagine that Chuck was being removed the board. Presently, they can have a beneficial organization. We will cooperate to cut him down. Accomplices in shame, says Dave, and Chuck goes ahead and to turn out covered for her.